Alright everybody, welcome back to another World Tour video for Piccolo Jr. This time we have the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone. First fight here, we have Frieza. This is the longest of the Red Zones. Nothing really stood out here in the Frieza fight. This was pretty standard. The last phase being a tech phase is really nice. And the only phase that we really have to worry about with Piccolo Jr. taking a lot of damage, potentially, would be the second phase, and his intro buff is going to be, you know, roaring and ready to go in that phase, so we're totally fine throughout this entire fight. I think I mentioned this in my other two Red Zone World Tours for Piccolo Jr., but I tried to keep the core of these units the same, so like pretty much in every single video you're going to see like Orange Piccolo, STR Piccolo, probably Physical Piccolo, and then like obviously the two leader Piccolo Juniors, and then I just kind of change out the Metal Coolers, Vegeta, sometimes I bring the STR Coolers as necessary, just depending on what the fight's going to look like, things like that. So this is the team that I rolled with for the most part. Again, slight changes throughout the entire run here. Nothing notable here happened in the Frieza fight that I remember. I think I might have used the Orange Piccolo transformation. No, we ended this one on the Piccolo Jr. transformation is what happened. Some of these I got lazy and I was like, I don't want to be doing this anymore, so I cheated and like whenever I could use Orange Piccolo and I just used it to finish off the fight. I don't remember how many of those there were. I feel like it was only a few, maybe one or two across this one and the Red Ribbon Army Red Zone, which should be coming out today as well. So anyway, enjoy Frieza, enjoy the rest of the video. We'll hop back in for commentary whenever we hit Cooler. Alright, so next up we have the cooler portion of the video. Again, this one is not very hard. We have type neutrality throughout most of the fight, and then, you know, Orange Piccolo has, like, he's type advantage in the first section, so we can get through that pretty easily, and then it's just a matter of making sure that we're not going to get caught in the second phase, which is why I kind of left the physical Piccolo around Orange Piccolo. That way I knew where to maneuver him so that he wasn't going to get hit by a super. I think I've mentioned this in other fights too. A lot of these videos, it's hard for me to keep track of what I've said and what I haven't, and usually I can never get every point I want to across, but Physical Piccolo is actually a pretty risky run in a lot of these fights because of how quickly you move around and just the general lack of rotations with this team. Whenever you're running a team like this that doesn't have much cohesion or there's not a lot of solid tanky units on it, you really have to kind of just play every rotation as you approach the rotation. You can't really run set rotations and just say, okay, I'm running these two units together and I'm running these two units together and we're floating the other three. You can do that with like Goku's team, but with this team you really just have to say, okay, where's the enemy supering, where's the enemy attacking, where do I have to hide this unit, and you just kind of have to play every single situation by ear. And Physical Piccolo really doesn't perform super great in those situations because he wants to be on rotation stacking pretty much next to Orange Piccolo, giving him a little bit of cushion to hide behind for the first few turns. And it's difficult to do that on this team. However, this fight, it was easy to do it on, just because, he has type advantage in the second phase, so we were able to run that rotation and just kind of keep it steady. And the other rotation, we had Physical Metal Cooler, who was going to be fine, and then I'm almost never worried about Piccolo Jr. in any situation, so that's the cooler fight. Not too crazy. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll hop back in with commentary for King Cold and Mecha Frieza. Alright everybody, welcome back. We're hopping in with the Mecha Frieza audio here in King Cold. I think I started out this fight by switching to STR Cooler just because I had Vegeta on the team and I looked at it and went, well, this fight does have multiple enemies throughout the entire fight, so bringing STR Cooler here, we can take advantage of his support because whenever he's facing 2 or more enemies, he actually does give Terrifying Conquerors 50% support instead of his normal 50% support to Transformation Boost allies. So I was like, hey, this is a great time to take advantage of his support. Let's just hop in here and see how he does. And I think overall it worked out well. I had a little bit of trouble planning like the first rotation. I knew I wanted to use Piccolo Jr.'s active skill and just get him built up as much as possible. But I wasn't sure how I actually wanted to play the rotation and who to keep on rotation. I decided to keep Physical Metal Cooler on rotation just because it's kind of like the nice thing about Physical Metal Cooler is that you do get one free turn with him. You can put him on any rotation. You can say, okay, we're most likely going to die here. Let's just put Physical Metal Cooler there. Let's, get another turn. Let's get that floater that we have coming onto this rotation, and let's just replay it whenever we get there. Hopefully the other rotation is more solid, and they can kind of lock things down a little bit better for us. That's kind of like my plan with physical Metal Cooler, is just give me that one free turn, please, so that I can kind of get set up, and then I can finish out the fight from there. And for the most part, it worked out really well. Most of these attempts only took one try. A few times, some of the other characters, like I think Physical Piccolo got caught a couple times. I think Metal Cooler got caught a couple of times after he had revived, so... but most of these fights only took one try. There was nothing that I was really having to grind out with this team, surprisingly. Whereas, for sure with Goku's team, I was getting insane bad RNG with some of these fights. Like, I know specifically that Cooler fight that we just did commentary for, that one just shredded me with Goku's team. Because Piccolo Jr. does have a level of consistency to him that Goku doesn't. Like, if Piccolo Jr.'s super attacks, I know what his defense is going to be, and it's going to be pretty solid. And it's going to be enough to tank pretty much whatever I put him in front of, as long as he's in slot 2 or 3. You know, I have to plan around that. You know, I need a unit in slot 1 that can handle themselves. But usually we can kind of figure that out as we go. Whereas with Goku, it's like, I really need him to be the slot 1 unit on this rotation, but there's an int character there who might be supering. It's a pretty good chance that they're supering, and if he's not guarding, he's out of here. I mean, that's just the way it is with Goku. So, just that level of consistency with Piccolo Jr. is really valuable to me, and I do think that's why I like him better than Goku. I mean, you guys can see, Piccolo Jr. is basically just like willing this team to victory. Whereas Goku, I was running, you know, somewhat similar units on some of these, but, well, just the Piccolos, right? I mean, with Goku's team, it really was just, I don't know if I was just getting unlucky, but I just felt so much more unstable running his team than with Piccolo Jr. So, anyway, I blabbered on long enough. We'll hop back in with commentary whenever we get to Metal Cooler and his little robot friend. Alright, everybody, next up here we have Metal Cooler and his little robot. The little robot did give us a little bit of a scare there. I believe it was this fight where he gave us a little scare here on turn 1. I think it was, where he hits Metal Cooler super hard with a super attack. But we're able to recover not too bad. There's a lot of healing going on this team between, like, Namekians, the revive that we get with Metal Cooler. Obviously, you know, burning his revive that quickly into the fight is never good, but... You know, I mean, that's always what I want out of Metal Cooler. Like I said in the previous commentary, he gives me that one turn where it's just like, okay, whatever. It's a free turn. For some characters, it can be pretty detrimental because you lose, like, maybe a turn of guard, a turn of their passive being up, whatever, with intros these days. But, you know, it's either that or we die. So this allowed us to just kind of get set up a little bit, think about our rotations, get another character on there. That way we can play out the rotations from there, and it ended up being the winning runs. So I'd say everything worked out perfectly, even if that's what happened. You know, we started out immediately with a death, but we ended with a win. So have to say everything worked out there. This fight isn't super incredibly tricky. I don't think I brought any STR units on this, just because, one, the second phase is AGL, and I don't want to bring STR characters into that. But two, I think this robot has either none or very low damage reduction against STR enemies. Well, I guess there's that Piccolo. I brought that Piccolo on every run, that STR Piccolo. I don't know. My commentary is probably not lining up with where you guys are, but that's okay. I'm just kind of clicking through and trying to figure out something to talk about while I'm going through this. But, you know, I don't want to bring STR enemies into this fight, especially, like, Terrifying Conqueror's STR enemies. I don't want to do that. But that robot, he has less damage reduction against STR enemies, I believe, so you actually move a lot faster through that first phase, whereas I kind of wanted to go a little bit slower, that way I could get my characters built up. And then, of course, Orange Piccolo is just a monster. He holds down slot 1 for most of these rotations. I can put Physical Piccolo on rotation with him, and I'm going to know where the super attacks are. and that way I can put Orange Piccolo in front of it, and I can kind of spare Physical Piccolo from that kind of punishment, basically. So we're able to bring Vegeta back on here, which is always good because we can get his support up, which is very helpful to the whole team. You know, he needs to take 3 hits, and then he has a support up, which is always very, very impactful. But again, nothing too crazy happens in this fight. Let me know what you guys think. We'll hop back in with audio or commentary for the Metal Cooler Core. Alright, last up here we do have the Metal Cooler Core. Now, this actually was, I think, my 3rd attempt on the stage. This was the only one that gave me a little bit of trouble. Now, I got it instantly, I think, my first no-item run whenever I did his initial showcase, I think. Let me know if I didn't. It might have been my 2nd run, I don't remember. But this did take a couple of tries, but it was never Piccolo Jr. that was getting me outed. It was actually the 2 Coolers. They just kept getting bullied by the army in the first couple phases, and I couldn't get out. I literally couldn't even get to the core because the 2 STR Coolers just kept getting supered and debuffed and just taking too much damage. So this was the winning run, though, although it may seem a little surprising looking at my health on turn 2, but we were, you know, everything worked out exactly as it needed to. I think we got Piccolo Jr.'s Giant Form in here, and that kind of got us through the first phase of Physical Metal Cooler. And then at that point, I think we were just able to, like, use, I don't know, active skills, whatever, and we were just able to get through this. You know, once we can get the STR Coolers to the actual core, then we're fine, right? You know, they're just going to do a bajillion damage and take them out. But until then, you know, we got to kind of buy our time, get through that first phase, and then we get to the core, and then from there, it's pretty simple. It's just hide the juniors. It really, I don't even know if you have to hide them too much, because I think with their intro buff up, which you should have for most of this fight, I think they can actually tank the core, depending on your RNG, of course, but the coolers really can take him out, super fast. So anyway, this is the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone No Item World Tour. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm crazy for having Piccolo Jr. as my #1 TUR. Let me know if you would put Goku, God Goku, Kale, whoever as #1 instead. I know some people like Gamma 1, which, I can definitely understand that, right? Like what Gamma 1's doing in the team he leads. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later with another video.